Mr. Lee was a quiet man with kind eyes. He owned a small diner in the heart of the town. The diner was called Sunnyside, and it was famous for its warm food and friendly people. Every day, customers came in to enjoy sandwiches, coffee, and smiles from the workers. Mr. Lee had worked hard for many years to build this place. He cared about his business and the people who worked for him. But lately, Mr. Lee had started to worry. The diner was doing well, but he felt something was missing. He wanted to know more about the people who worked there, their stories, their struggles, and their dreams. He wondered if everything was really okay behind the scenes. Was everyone happy? Were they being treated well? Did they feel like part of a family or just employees? One evening, as the sun was setting and the diner was about to close, Mr. Lee sat alone at his desk. He looked at the pictures on the wall, photos of the staff, some customers, and happy moments from past years. His heart felt heavy. He thought, maybe I should see the diner through their eyes. Maybe I should visit as a customer, not the owner. Then I can hear what people really say. The next morning, Mr. Lee made his decision. He would go undercover. He would dress simply, put on a cap and glasses to hide his face, and come to the diner just like any other customer. He wanted to listen and watch without being noticed. He smiled softly to himself. This will be a new adventure, he said. Early the next day, Mr. Lee got ready. He put on a plain shirt and a dark cap pulled low over his forehead. He even borrowed a pair of old glasses from his daughter. He looked into the mirror and barely recognized himself. For the first time, he would not be the boss. He would be just a regular man, walking into his diner. When he stepped outside, the morning air felt fresh and cool. The streets were quiet, and the town was waking up slowly. Mr. Lee walked with a light step. He felt a strange mix of excitement and nervousness. As he reached the diner, he stopped for a moment. The sign Sunnyside shone brightly under the morning sun. He took a deep breath and walked inside. The diner looked the same as always, bright, clean, and welcoming. The smell of fresh coffee and warm bread filled the air. The wooden tables and chairs were neatly arranged, and the counter was shining. Mr. Lee took a slow walk to the back of the diner, where the line usually formed. He stood quietly, watching the employees working. He noticed Anna and Sam behind the counter. They were two of his cashiers. Anna was a young woman with a friendly smile, and Sam was a young man who always seemed busy but polite. Mr. Lee watched them as they talked softly while preparing food and serving customers. Their movements were quick but careful, like they wanted to do a good job. A few customers came and went, greeting the staff warmly. Mr. Lee felt happy to see the friendly atmosphere. But he also noticed something else, a tiredness in Anna's eyes and a quiet worry on Sam's face. When it was his turn, Mr. Lee stepped forward. He tried to sound casual. "I'd like a sandwich, please. Something simple." Anna smiled and nodded. "Sure. Would you like cheese and tomato?" "Yes, please," he said. As Anna started making the sandwich, Sam was counting the cash register quietly. The two cashiers began to talk, not knowing Mr. Lee was listening carefully. "I don't know how I will pay my rent this month," Anna said softly, her voice low but full of worry. "I'm working so many hours, but it's still not enough." Sam looked down, his face serious. "I feel the same. My daughter lives with her mother, and I barely see her because of these long shifts. Sometimes, I feel like I'm losing her." Mr. Lee's heart sank. He hadn't expected to hear this. He had always thought his workers were doing okay. But now, he realized there was pain and struggle behind their smiles. He felt a lump in his throat and quickly turned his eyes away. The sandwich in front of him didn't taste as good as it should. His mind was full of questions. How could he help? How had he missed all this? The line moved forward, and Mr. Lee took his sandwich to a small table by the window. He sat down slowly, looking out at the street but thinking about Anna and Sam. He watched as they kept working, serving customers with care but looking tired. He knew he had to learn more. This visit was only the beginning. Mr. Lee took a deep breath and made a silent promise to himself. I will do better, he thought. I will listen. I will change things for them. The sunlight warmed the diner, but inside Mr. Lee, a new feeling was growing, a feeling of responsibility, kindness, and hope. As he took a small bite of his sandwich, he smiled faintly. The real story of Sunnyside was just beginning. Mr. Lee sat quietly at his small table by the window. The sandwich in his hand felt different now. He wasn't just a customer buying lunch. He was a man who wanted to understand the lives of the people who worked for him. The soft chatter of the diner, the clinking of cups, and the low hum of the conversations around filled the room. He took another bite, but his thoughts were elsewhere. Anna and Sam were still behind the counter, working hard. Their smiles were kind, but their eyes showed something deeper, a worry he had not seen before. He looked at Anna closely. She carefully wrapped a sandwich for a customer and handed it over with a polite thank you. Then she sighed quietly, just for a moment, before turning back to the register. Mr. Lee noticed that she seemed tired, as if the weight of her problems was sitting heavy on her shoulders. Sam was cleaning the counter, moving quickly but with care. Mr. Lee watched how Sam's hands shook a little as he wiped the table. He remembered the words Sam had spoken just minutes ago about missing his daughter. The thought made Mr. Lee's heart ache. Suddenly, the bell above the door jingled, and a young woman walked in. She looked around, searching for a seat. Mr. Lee saw the hope in her eyes. Maybe she was a regular customer or someone new to the town. She smiled shyly as Anna noticed her and motioned her to the empty seat near the window. Mr. Lee continued to listen quietly. The conversations around the diner were soft but full of life. There were stories hidden in every corner, stories of families, dreams, worries, and kindness. Anna and Sam began talking again, this time about something else. Mr. Lee tried to hear every word without drawing attention. I wish I could spend more time with my brother, Anna said softly. He lives in another city, and I haven't seen him for months. I want to visit, but I can't take time off work. Sam nodded slowly. It's hard. I miss my daughter every day. I work late shifts, and by the time I get home, she's already asleep. Sometimes, I wonder if she remembers me. Mr. Lee felt a wave of sadness. He had always thought his workers were just doing their jobs. But now he saw their lives were full of challenges and heartache. A customer at the counter laughed loudly, breaking the quiet moment. It was a friendly laugh, and Mr. Lee smiled. The diner was a place where people found comfort, even if life outside was hard. Mr. Lee looked around and saw other workers too. There was Maria, the cook, who worked quietly in the kitchen. She moved quickly but with care, making sure every plate was perfect. Mr. Lee remembered how she had once told him about her dream to open her own bakery someday. There was also John, the cleaner, who always greeted everyone with a kind smile. Mr. Lee thought about how John had shared stories about his family and how much he loved his grandchildren. The owner realized that his diner was more than just a business. It was a place where people came not only to eat but to find warmth and friendship. Mr. Lee took a deep breath. He wanted to talk to Anna and Sam, but he was afraid. What if they did not want to share? What if he could not help? Then, a sudden noise from behind the counter caught his attention. Anna and Sam were speaking more quietly now, their voices full of worry. Have you told Mr. Lee about your problems? Anna asked softly. Sam shook his head. No, I don't want to bother him. He has a lot to manage. I just hope things get better soon. Mr. Lee felt a strong urge to speak. To tell them he cared. But he stayed silent, not ready to reveal who he was. He finished his sandwich slowly, thinking deeply. He needed to find a way to help, but first, he had to understand everything. As the morning turned to afternoon, more customers came and went. The diner grew busier, and the workers moved faster. Mr. Lee noticed how Anna's smile stayed bright even though her eyes looked tired. When the lunch rush ended, Mr. Lee saw a chance. He approached the counter with a smile and said, "Thank you for your hard work today." Anna looked up, surprised but pleased. "Thank you, sir. We try our best." Sam nodded and added, "We appreciate it." Mr. Lee's heart warmed. He wanted to tell them so much more, but he kept his secret for now. Before leaving, he looked around one last time. The diner was full of life and hope, but also struggles hidden beneath the surface. As he walked out the door, the bell jingled softly behind him. The sun shone warmly outside, and Mr. Lee felt a new sense of purpose. He knew that this day was just the beginning of a bigger story, a story about care, understanding, and change. Mr. Lee promised himself he would return. And next time, he would listen even closer. The next day, Mr. Lee woke up feeling different. The visit to his diner had stayed in his mind all night. He could not stop thinking about Anna and Sam, about their tired eyes and quiet worries. He had always seen them as good workers, but now he saw them as people with stories, challenges, and hopes. He dressed carefully, this time without his disguise. But in his heart, he was still the undercover man who wanted to understand the truth. He decided to come back to the diner not as a hidden customer, but as a boss who wanted to listen. When Mr. Lee arrived at Sunnyside, the smell of fresh bread and coffee greeted him like an old friend. The place was already busy with morning customers. The workers moved quickly, talking and laughing softly. But behind their smiles, Mr. Lee knew there was more. He walked up to the counter where Anna and Sam were working side by side. Anna looked surprised to see him, and Sam smiled politely. "Good morning," Mr. Lee said warmly. "I wanted to check in and see how things are going." Anna wiped her hands on her apron and smiled shyly. "Good morning, Mr. Lee. Everything is okay, just busy as usual." Sam nodded. "Yes, the usual rush. But we manage." Mr. Lee noticed the tiredness in their voices and in their eyes. He wanted to say more, to ask about their lives, but he did not want to embarrass them. Instead, he smiled and said, "I've been thinking about how important you both are to this diner. I want to make sure you are happy and comfortable at work." Anna's eyes widened for a moment. "Thank you, sir. That means a lot." Mr. Lee stayed behind the counter and began helping with small tasks. He washed dishes, refilled coffee pots, and wiped tables. The workers were surprised but welcomed his help. As the day passed, Mr. Lee listened carefully to the sounds of the diner, the laughter of children, the chatter of friends, the clatter of dishes. But he also listened to the quiet moments, the sighs, the soft voices, and the silent prayers in people's hearts. During a slow moment, Mr. Lee decided to talk to Anna privately. He found her sitting in the break room, drinking water and catching her breath. "Anna," he said gently, "I want you to know that I care about you and all the workers here. If there is anything you want to tell me, anything at all, I am ready to listen." Anna looked surprised but then nodded slowly. She took a deep breath and began to speak. "It's not easy, Mr. Lee," she said softly. "I work hard every day, but it's not just the work. I worry about my family. My mother is sick, and I have to help her as much as I can. Sometimes, I don't get enough rest." Mr. Lee's eyes softened. He could see the weight of her worries in her hands, which trembled slightly. "Thank you for telling me," he said kindly. "Is there anything we can do to help?" Anna shook her head slowly. "I don't want to ask for too much. I just want to do my best." After Anna left, Mr. Lee found Sam outside the diner, sitting on a bench. Sam looked tired but smiled when he saw Mr. Lee. "Can we talk for a moment?" Mr. Lee asked. Sam nodded and sighed. "Sure, Mr. Lee." They sat quietly for a while. Then Sam spoke about his daughter and how much he missed her. "I want to spend more time with her, but the hours are hard. I feel like I'm losing the moments that matter." Mr. Lee listened with a heavy heart. He wished he could turn back time and do things differently. "I understand," he said softly. "Thank you for sharing that with me." The afternoon passed slowly. Mr. Lee went back inside and watched the workers closely. He realized that they were not just employees, they were people with dreams, fears, and families. Before leaving that evening, Mr. Lee gathered Anna and Sam. "I want you both to know that your hard work does not go unnoticed. I want to support you in any way I can." Anna smiled warmly. "Thank you, Mr. Lee. That means a lot to us." Sam nodded. "We appreciate you listening." Mr. Lee left the diner feeling both hopeful and determined. He knew that running a business was more than making money, it was about taking care of the people who made it possible. That night, he sat alone at his desk, planning how he could make changes to help Anna, Sam, and the others. He wanted to create a place where work was fair, and everyone felt valued. The next morning, Mr. Lee returned to the diner with a new energy. He was ready to listen more and to show his team that he cared not just as a boss but as a human being. The days after his undercover visit, Mr. Lee found himself thinking more and more about the people who worked at Sunnyside. Every moment he had, he replayed the conversations he had overheard and the stories he was told. He saw his diner with new eyes filled with care and understanding. One quiet morning, Mr. Lee stood outside the diner before it opened. The cool air brushed against his face, and he watched as the sun slowly rose over the town. In that moment, he felt a deep sense of responsibility. The people inside, Anna, Sam, Maria, John, and all the others, they were more than just workers. They were the heart of the diner. He pushed open the door and stepped inside. The familiar scent of coffee and fresh bread welcomed him, but today, it felt different, full of meaning. He looked around and saw Anna wiping down a table, Sam carrying a tray of food, and Maria cooking in the kitchen. Mr. Lee decided to spend the day helping. Not as a boss watching from the sidelines, but as someone who wanted to understand their daily life. He swept the floors, washed dishes, and even filled coffee cups. The workers glanced at him with surprise but smiled warmly. They appreciated his effort. As the morning went on, Mr. Lee noticed something he hadn't seen before: the tiredness in their movements, the quiet sighs between customers, and the way they helped each other through busy moments. The diner was full of life, but it was also full of struggles. During a short break, Mr. Lee found a quiet corner and sat down. He thought about all the things he had learned: Anna's worry about her sick mother, Sam's sadness from missing his daughter, Maria's dream to open a bakery, and John's love for his grandchildren. He realized that being a boss was not just about running a business. It was about caring for people. It was about making sure they felt safe, valued, and supported. Suddenly, Mr. Lee felt a wave of guilt. How had he missed these struggles? How had he been so focused on profits and numbers that he forgot to look at the people behind the work? He took a deep breath and made a promise to himself. "I will do better. I will listen more. I will help in any way I can." Just then, Anna came over to refill a glass of water. She smiled softly and said, "Mr. Lee, thank you for being here today. It means a lot to us." Mr. Lee smiled back, feeling warmth in his chest. "Thank you, Anna. I want to do more than just listen. I want to help." The day passed with small moments of connection, conversations with workers, shared laughter, and quiet understanding. Mr. Lee learned about their hopes and fears. He saw their kindness, their strength, and their dedication. As the sun began to set, Mr. Lee gathered his courage. He called Anna and Sam to the side and spoke honestly. "I want you both to know that I understand more now. I see the hard work you do, and I know there are things you struggle with. I want to help make your lives easier." Anna looked at him with wide eyes, and Sam nodded slowly. "Thank you, Mr. Lee," Anna said quietly. "That means so much." Mr. Lee continued, "I want to make changes here: better schedules, more support, and fair rewards. You deserve that." The workers listened carefully, and a feeling of hope grew in the room. For the first time, they felt truly seen. That night, Mr. Lee sat at his desk and wrote plans. He wanted to create a place where everyone felt happy and cared for. He wanted Sunnyside to be more than a diner, it should be a family. He thought about all the changes he could make: flexible hours for parents, time off for those who needed it, and rewards for hard work. He also thought about listening more often and making sure everyone had a voice. Mr. Lee smiled, feeling a lightness in his heart. He knew the road ahead would not be easy, but he was ready. The next morning, he returned to the diner with new energy and a new promise. He was no longer just the boss behind a desk. He was a leader who cared. The workers greeted him with smiles, and the diner felt brighter. The change had already begun, not just in plans but in hearts. Mr. Lee knew this was only the start. But for the first time, he felt truly connected to the people who made his diner special. And that made all the difference. The next day, Mr. Lee arrived at the diner early. The morning light spilled softly through the windows, warming the cozy room. The aroma of fresh coffee filled the air, and the gentle hum of the kitchen was comforting. Mr. Lee was ready not just to lead but to truly connect with his employees. He looked around and saw Anna and Sam already at work. They smiled when they saw him, but there was a quiet nervousness too. Mr. Lee knew that his promise to listen and help was just the beginning. Now it was time to take a deeper step. During a small break, Mr. Lee approached Anna first. She was sitting on a bench near the back, tying her shoes after a busy rush. He sat down beside her gently and smiled. "Anna," he began softly, "I want to thank you for everything you do. I know work isn't easy, and I want to understand more. Can you tell me what makes your days hard and what you wish could be different?" Anna looked surprised at first. She wasn't used to a boss asking her how she felt. But then, she nodded slowly, feeling safe to share. "It's hard to balance everything," she said quietly. "I take care of my mother, and sometimes I don't get enough sleep. I want to work hard, but I worry if I'm doing enough for my family." Mr. Lee listened closely, his heart full of empathy. "That sounds very difficult," he said kindly. "You are doing your best, and I want to help make things easier for you." Anna's eyes glistened with a small tear. "Thank you, Mr. Lee. It means a lot to know you care." Next, Mr. Lee found Sam cleaning tables near the kitchen. He asked Sam if he could talk for a moment, and Sam nodded. They stepped outside for fresh air. The morning sun warmed their faces as they sat on a bench near the door. "Sam," Mr. Lee said gently, "I know you've missed time with your daughter because of work. Can you tell me how I can support you better?" Sam took a deep breath and looked down at his hands. "I want to be there for her," he said. "But the long shifts make it hard. Sometimes, I feel like I'm losing important moments. I want to spend more time with her, but I'm afraid to ask for time off." Mr. Lee placed a comforting hand on Sam's shoulder. "I want you to know that family matters here. We will find a way to help you spend time with her. You deserve that." Sam smiled for the first time that day. "Thank you, Mr. Lee. That means more than I can say." Back inside, Mr. Lee felt a new kind of strength. These private conversations were more than talks, they were bridges of trust. He thought about the changes he wanted to make: flexible schedules, better breaks, and support for family needs. But he also knew he needed to show his team that he truly cared every day. Later that afternoon, Mr. Lee gathered Anna, Sam, and a few other workers in a quiet corner of the diner. "I want to thank all of you for your hard work," he said warmly. "I've been learning a lot about your lives and struggles. It's clear to me now that this diner is not just about food or money, it's about people. And I want to build a place where you all feel valued and supported." The workers listened closely. Anna smiled shyly, and Sam looked hopeful. Mr. Lee continued, "I promise to work with you to make things better, whether that means better schedules, more time with family, or just a place where you can talk openly. Your happiness matters to me." There was a quiet moment, then Anna spoke up, "Thank you, Mr. Lee. It means everything to know you care." Sam nodded. "We're lucky to have you." Mr. Lee felt a warm glow inside. These words were the reward he had been waiting for. As the day ended, Mr. Lee stayed a little longer. He helped clean, chatted with workers, and listened to their stories. The diner felt different now, a place filled with hope, kindness, and connection. When he finally left, the sun was setting, painting the sky with soft colors. Mr. Lee walked slowly, feeling grateful and determined. He knew there was still work to do, but he was ready. He was ready to lead with his heart, not just his mind. And the people of Sunnyside knew that they had a boss who truly cared. The next morning, the sun rose gently over the town, and the diner, Sunnyside, began to fill with customers. But this day was different. Something new was in the air. Mr. Lee arrived early, a feeling of hope and purpose inside him. As he opened the door, he saw Anna preparing the tables with a tired but warm smile. Sam was at the counter, organizing supplies. The workers greeted Mr. Lee with friendly waves, and he felt a deep connection with each of them. Mr. Lee knew it was time to act. It was not enough to listen and promise, he had to make real changes that could improve the lives of his team. He called a small meeting just before the lunch rush. Anna, Sam, Maria, John, and a few others gathered in the back room, curious and a little nervous. Mr. Lee looked around the room and spoke from his heart. "Thank you all for being here. I've been thinking about what you've shared with me, the struggles you face every day, the dreams you hold, and the ways I can help. I want to make this diner a better place for everyone." Anna nodded, her eyes bright. "That sounds wonderful, Mr. Lee." Mr. Lee continued, "First, I want to start with the schedule. I understand that some of you have family needs, and we will work together to create more flexible hours. If anyone needs time off for family or emergencies, please let me know, and I will do my best to support you." Sam smiled, a hopeful look in his eyes. "That means a lot, sir. I want to be there for my daughter more." Mr. Lee added, "Second, I want to introduce better breaks during busy hours. Everyone deserves time to rest and recharge. You work hard, and I want to make sure you feel cared for." Maria, who had been quiet, spoke softly, "I've always wanted to learn new skills in cooking. Is there a way to get training or help to improve?" Mr. Lee smiled warmly. "Absolutely, Maria. I will arrange for cooking classes and workshops. Your dreams are important." John, the cleaner, nodded happily. "It feels good to be heard." Mr. Lee felt his heart fill with joy. "Finally, I want us to have regular meetings where everyone can share ideas and talk openly. We are a team, and your voices matter." The workers looked around the room, smiles growing wider. For the first time, they felt truly part of something bigger than just a job. After the meeting, the lunch rush began. Mr. Lee watched as Anna and Sam worked with new energy. The changes he promised were small but meaningful. He saw hope in their eyes, and it gave him strength. During a quiet moment, Anna came to Mr. Lee and said, "Thank you for listening and helping. It means more than I can say." Sam added, "This diner feels like a family now." Mr. Lee smiled. That is what I want, a place where everyone feels at home. As the day went on, Mr. Lee noticed other small things he could improve. He spoke with the kitchen staff about better equipment and with John about supplies. He made notes and promised to make the diner safer and more comfortable. In the evening, after the customers had left, Mr. Lee stayed behind. He looked around the diner, the shining counters, the clean tables, the happy faces of his team. He felt proud but also humble. Change was never easy, but with kindness and care, it was possible. Mr. Lee thought about Anna's mother and hoped that the flexible schedule would give Anna more time to help her. He thought about Sam's daughter and hoped Sam would find many moments to share with her. He knew there was more work ahead, more listening, more helping, and more growing. But for now, he was grateful for this day of change. As he locked the door and stepped outside, the stars twinkled above. The night was calm, and Mr. Lee felt peace in his heart. He whispered softly, "This is just the beginning." Weeks passed since Mr. Lee had made the changes at Sunnyside. The diner, once just a place to eat, had slowly transformed into a home for its workers and its customers. Mr. Lee watched with pride as the workers moved with new energy and hope. Anna smiled more often, and Sam's eyes held a quiet happiness. The small acts of kindness and understanding were making a big difference. One morning, Mr. Lee arrived early as usual. The sun was just rising, and the town was waking slowly. As he opened the door, he was greeted by the sound of laughter and friendly chatter. It was a sound he had not heard before in the diner, a sound full of warmth. Anna was setting up tables, and she looked up and smiled brightly. "Good morning, Mr. Lee. Did you sleep well?" "Yes, Anna," Mr. Lee replied, feeling warmth spread through his chest. "And you?" "Better than before," she said softly. Sam was behind the counter, arranging fresh bread. He looked up and nodded. "Morning, sir. Things are running smoothly." Mr. Lee felt his heart swell. These small changes had created a new spirit in the diner. Later that morning, Mr. Lee called a short meeting with the team. Everyone gathered in the back room, excited and curious. "I want to thank all of you for your hard work and trust," Mr. Lee began. "When I first came here undercover, I saw you as workers, but now I see you as family. Your stories, your struggles, and your dreams have taught me what it means to care." Anna's eyes filled with tears, and Sam nodded silently. Mr. Lee continued, "Because of you, I have learned that a business is more than profits, it's about people. And I promise to keep listening, to keep improving, and to make this diner a place where everyone feels valued." The room was quiet, full of respect and hope. After the meeting, Mr. Lee took a moment to walk through the diner. He saw Maria happily practicing new cooking skills. John was chatting with a customer, his face bright with pride. The diner was alive with joy. Mr. Lee thought about the future. He wanted to grow the business, but more importantly, he wanted to grow the family inside. One afternoon, Anna came to Mr. Lee with a small box in her hands. "I want to thank you," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "This helped me take care of my mother and gave me hope." Mr. Lee smiled softly. "You deserve every good thing." Sam joined them and said, "And you helped me find time with my daughter. I'm grateful." Mr. Lee felt tears sting his eyes. He realized the greatest success was not in money but in the happiness of his people. That evening, as the sun set, Mr. Lee stood outside the diner and looked at the bright lights inside. He thought about the day he had come as an undercover boss and the journey he had taken since. He had learned so much, from listening quietly to acting boldly, from seeing workers as people to leading with his heart. Mr. Lee whispered to the night sky, "This is only the beginning. Together, we will build something beautiful." And as the stars shone above, Sunnyside shone too bright with hope, kindness, and a promise of a better tomorrow.